Page 30, Bus Stop Boogie. The top of the page, they're talking about reading in thirds or skips. Well, what's that all about? Frankly, I don't put a lot of emphasis in it, but the book is covering, so okay, we'll talk about it. A third, we're talking about an interval of a third. Remember how to count intervals? You start with the bottom note and you count up. So now we're going to count to 3 because we want a third. So let's just take a note. Let's take an F. And we want a third above it, we count up. And remember that note we're on is 1. We don't start with 0. So it's 1, 2, 3. That's a third, an interval of a third. On a piano, it's every other key. They're all thirds. Our harmonic system is based on thirds. We're going to talk a lot about thirds. They're important. Well, they're all important, but thirds really. In the music, it's each note is on a line or each note is on a space. And they're next to each other. On the lines or spaces are next to each other. So you can see it. They show you. Let's look at the first measure of this piece. In the right hand, you have an E, a G, another E, and a C. See, all of those are a third apart. That's a third, that's a third, and that's a third. And if you look at the music, they're all on those lines and they're next to each. The lines are next to each other. The notes aren't, but the lines are. That's how you can spot a third in music, and it comes in handy in cases. Not very often, but you may find a use for it. So there you are. Now we've had thirds. You get steps and skips. That's it. Take your pick. A step is next note up or down. It's the next note to it. That's an interval of a second. Remember? They sound great. And a skip then is anything bigger than that. Like a third is a skip because there's a note in between. We skipped a note. We could skip a lot of notes. I'd skip a lot of notes on that one. So you have a step and a skip. There you go. At least if you hear somebody talking about it, if you read about steps and skips, you'll have an idea what they're talking about. Let's talk about this boogie thing. 2 lines long, kind of short. 4/4 time, treble and bass clef. We got quarter notes and then a half note at the end, so the rhythm-wise it shouldn't be a problem. But again, because now we're dealing in skips instead of steps, the notes look like they're all jumbled up. You just take it one note at a time. That's fine. So in the right hand, we're here to start. That's an E, by the way. And you just play the notes for the right hand, and then the next measure, it's a D and an F. Next measure, it's a F, and then make sure you can play the notes in the right hand, and then the left hand, you got fourth note here, fourth finger here, you're here, and it G, B, and make sure you know the names of these notes. At the end of the line, it's an A, G, okay, let's try the hands together, it's here. You see that they're just quarter notes, just one after another. And if you hesitate, that's fine when you're first doing. You may hesitate here. What's this? And then here, and then here. So you're hesitating all over. That's fine. But once you got the notes and the rhythms pretty much, then you go back through and you work on those spots and get rid of the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. Keep it slow. It doesn't matter, but it's got to be a steady beat. So all of these are just steady right on the beat, like a metronome. What you think they are, and just read whatever the music is telling you to do. As far as articulation goes, they don't give you anything. Well, then you just go ahead and connect everything if you want. Later on, if you want to disconnect it, that's up to you, but for right now, connect everything. Now, I will give you a little hint here. Let's just talk about a little more because we're not talking about so much. There's words for this. They put words in the middle. And a lot of times in music, when they give me the words, I don't have the phrasing, or I don't agree with the phrasing, what they're doing, the slurs. I can use the words to tell me what the slurs are. And that is the sentences and the words I'm going to connect. And then when it starts a new sentence, I'm going to lift up like taking a breath. So here, you see this first 2 measures is all one sentence in the words. And then there's a period. Well, then I would lift up before going on. It's like taking a breath. there's a period, so I'd lift up. And you can use the words then to help you put in the slurs. It's called phrasing. They haven't got to phrasing yet, but we'll get there. It's kind of confusing. Just connect them according to the sentences in the words. If you're lost, you don't know what's going on, then skip all that and just connect everything. But if you're lost and you don't know what's going on, you need to go back and start again and go through everything again. Dynamics, it's loud. Forte is loud. Whatever you think loud is, not super loud, just loud. The whole thing is loud, okay. Speed with a strong beat. Well, it's not a speed. It's more like a style. It's a boogie woogie. It's a boogie. Well, here we're going to feel the natural accent. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You feel it. Don't force it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. As far as natural accents go, the only one I've talked about is the first beat of a measure, because that's the strongest one. Well, there are others. In 4/4 time, there's also a natural accent on the third beat, but it's not as strong as the first. So it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the 3 isn't as big as the 4, and try and see what you can do that. Force them if you have to at first. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. But you want to get to where you just feel them. You're not forcing them. You may force them at first, but eventually. And that's what, to me, a strong beat is going to be. The beat is going to be those natural accents. If you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? That would slow it down a little. So don't go too fast. It's not a super fast piece. Could be if you don't want to sing it. It's kind of fun. But otherwise, you keep it fairly slow. Or somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle in there, just experiment with it. Let's play it together slowly and double check these notes. Rhythm's not a problem, they're mostly all quarter notes, but the notes themselves. Make sure you're playing the same note I'm playing at the same time I'm playing it. 1, 2, ready, go. Off. There's a duet at the bottom of the page. I'd like to play that, and you play what you just played. I'm going to speed it up some, and I need you to go up an octave again. So again, just pretend middle C is up here, and instead of here, you're up here. Play it all up here. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.